Hello YouTube, this is Crime Alley Comics. Welcome to episode 42 of the Comic Book Artist Spotlight. This spotlight will be on Jim Aparo. And I do have quite a bit of information on Jim Aparo to share with you. Jim Aparo is one of my favorite artists, especially from the 60s and 70s, which is when he was in his heyday, doing a lot of covers and interior art. But he'd done a lot of inking, penciling, lettering, and so tonight we're going to talk about Jim Aparo. James N. Aparo was born August 24th of 1932, and he passed away July the 19th of 2005. He was an American comic book artist, best known for his 1960s and 70s DC Comics work. Included are the characters Batman, Aquaman, and the Spectre. Aparo was raised in New Britain, Connecticut, and was self-trained as an artist, so he didn't go to school to become an artist. He attempted to enter the comic book profession in his early 20s, approaching EC Comics, which declined to hire him. He then worked in the advertising industry in Connecticut. After drawing fashion illustrations for newspaper advertisements, he continued to pursue a career in comic books and comic strips while working in advertising. His first break in the comic field was with the comic strip Stern Wheeler, written by Ralph Cana, which was published in 1963 in a Hartford, Connecticut newspaper for less than a year. In 1966, editor Dick Giordano at Charlton Comics hired him as a comic book artist, where his first assignment was a humorous character called Miss Bikini Love in Go-Go Comics. Over the next few years at Charlton, Aparo drew stories in many genres such as westerns, science fiction, romance, horror, mystery, and suspense. Most of his work was for standalone stories in anthology titles, but he also drew the historical adventure feature Thane of Bagarth in the comic book Hercules. Also, he did the superheroine feature Nightshade in Captain Atom, and the science fiction western comedy backup Wonder in Cheyenne Kid, and the comic book adaptation of the comic strip The Phantom. Aparo was one of the few artists in mainstream comics at the time to serve as penciler, inker, and letterer for all of his work. Now on to DC Comics. In the late 1960s, Dick Giordano left Charlton for an editorial position at DC Comics and offered Aparo a job drawing the Aquaman comic book. After an initial issue, number 40, for which Aparo provided only pencil art, Aparo resumed producing pencils, inks, and letters for most issues of the series until its cancellation. Aparo continued for a time to provide art to Charlton for The Phantom, alternating between the two series month by month, as both series were being released on a bi-monthly basis at the time. Eventually, Aparo resigned his assignment on The Phantom and worked almost exclusively for the remainder of his career for DC Comics. Aparo's next series assignment at DC was Phantom Stranger. After Aquaman was canceled, the bi-monthly frequency of Phantom Stranger was insufficient to fill his typical production rate of one page per day, so DC assigned him several short jobs such as mystery stories for House of Mystery and House of Secrets. In 1971, Aparo was assigned a fill-in job as the artist for The Brave and the Bold, number 98, in October and November of 1971. This series routinely featured team-ups of DC's Batman with other characters, in this case the Phantom Stranger. As the regular artist on the Phantom Stranger's own series, Aparo was considered an appropriate choice. Murray Boltinoff, the editor of The Brave and the Bold, soon assigned Aparo the regular artistic responsibilities for the series, beginning with issue 100, which he continued until its cancellation with issue 200, missing only a few issues. Aparo even co-starred as himself in The Brave and the Bold number 124 in January of 1976, which I do have a copy of that. It's a very cool comic book. During the more than 10 years as the artist for The Brave and the Bold, its bi-monthly frequency permitted Aparo to do many other significant works for DC. It became monthly in November of 1978. In addition to numerous covers, he served as the regular artist for a notorious series starring a ruthless avenging ghost called The Spectre, which ran in Adventure Comics, and which in 2005 was collected in a trade paperback edition. He also provided art for a revival of Aquaman in both Adventure Comics and a continuation of the previously canceled Aquaman. He was assigned the sole Batman series in Detective Comics as of issue 437, October-November of 1973, for a rather short time, and drew occasional stories for anthology series. Apollo and writer Len Wein introduced Sterling Silversmith in Detective Comics number 446, April of 1975. He drew The Untold Legend of Batman, the first Batman miniseries, in 1980. Inking John Byrne's pencils in the first issue and providing full art for the second and third issues. Aparo was one of the artists on the double-sized Justice League of America number 200, March 1982. When The Brave and the Bold was canceled in 1983, it was replaced with a series called Batman and the Outsiders, a superhero team led by Batman. This series, which Apollo co-created with writer Mike W. Barr, would be described by DC Comics writer and executive Paul Levitz as being a team series more fashionable to 1980s audiences. The Masters of Disaster were among the supervillains created by Barr and Aparo for the series. It would run for several years, continuing with a Baxter Paper spin-off titled The Outsiders that did not include Batman and introduced Looker. For the final few issues, DC began to request that Aparo provide only pencils, and a long and nearly unbroken string of Aparo inking and lettering his own work came mostly to an end. Aparo's next major work consists of pencils for Batman and Detective Comics, where his art was almost always inked by Mike DiCarlo. Aparo returned to the Batman title with issue 414 in December of 1987, in collaboration with writer Jim Starlin. One of their first storylines for the title was 10 Nights of the Beast in issues 417 through 417 through 420, March through June of 1988, which introduced the KG Beast. Perhaps the most notable product of the period remains A Death in the Family, Batman 426 through 429 in 1988 and 1989, depicting the death of Jason Todd, or Robin. The A Lonely Place of Dying storyline crossed over with the New Titans title and introduced Tim Drake as the new Robin. Aparo continued to draw Batman stories in Detective and Batman until the early 1990s. During this time, he was the regular artist on Batman when Bane broke Bruce Wayne's back during the Nightfall storyline in 1992. Aparo returned to do pencils, inks, and lettering for his Batman stories, but was soon returned to contributing only pencil art. Also, that year, Aparo was given his last regular series assignment for DC as pencil artist for Green Arrow issues 81 through 100. He and writer Kelly Puckett co-created Connor Hawke, the son of Green Arrow. Following that assignment, Aparo's work appeared infrequently, when Aparo was mostly assigned occasional Batman-related stories and covers in miniseries and specials. His published works in the late 1990s and early 2000s include a Batman annual inked by former Marvel Comics mainstay Sal Buscema, a JCPD miniseries, a Speed Force special featuring The Flash, an issue of Dead Man miniseries that revisited his Death in the Family story, and a single page of Green Lantern Superman Legend of Green Flame, written by Neil Gaiman, in which he had a final opportunity to draw the Phantom Stranger for publication. His final work for DC during his life was the cover of the trade paperback Batman in the 80s, published in 2004, and in 2006 previously unpublished Aparo art depicting the unused alternate ending of the storyline, A Death in the Family, in which the Jason Todd Robin lives instead of dies. And that appears in Batman Annual number 25. In the past 5 years, after many decades of neglect, DC Comics has shown a respectable uptick in the publication of Jim Aparo's uncollected comic book. Unfortunately, a recent decision by current DC Comics president Dan Ditto has resulted in the cancellation of a third omnibus edition, Batman the Brave and the Bold Bronze Age Omnibus Volume 3, which would have largely completed publication of Aparo's groundbreaking work featuring Batman. Although that publication was scheduled for September of 2019, no explanation as to the cancellation was given to Ditto. Aparo died on July 19th of 2005 at his home in Southington, Connecticut. At least one report attributed the cause of his death to be a long battle with cancer, but his family's formal announcement said his death came from complications relating to recent illness. DC Comics ran an Aparo in memorandum page in Batman 644 in October of 2005 and in Detective Comics 811 in November of 2005. Now, some of the awards that he got: Aparo was automatically inducted into the prestigious Will Eisner Hall of Fame in 2019. The Shazam Award for Best Individual Short Story Dramatic in 1972 for The Demon Within in House of Mystery number 201 with John Albano. He received an Inkpot Award in 1993. Now let's look at some of the books that he did in his career, starting with Charlton Comics. He did Captain Atom Nightshade number 87 through 89. That was in August of 1967 through December of 1967. Career Girl Romances number 40 in June of 1967. Charlton Premiere number 4 in May of 1968. Cheyenne Kid number 66 through 71 ran from May of 1968 to March of 1969. Ghost Manor number 77, November of 1984. Ghostly Tales number 65 through 68, 71 and 72, 74 through 76, 79, 81, 137, 141, 142, 146, 149, 153, and 164. And that was from February of 1968 to December of 1983. Go-Go number 5 through 9, February of 1967 through October of 1967. Gunfighter number 52 and number 83, October of 1967 and March of 1984. Hercules, Adventures of the Man God number 1 through 10, 1969 through 1968 through 1969. I Love You number 67, April of 1967. Love Diary number 62 and number 66, October of 1969 and May of 1970. The Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves, number 4, number 5, number 7, number 8, 17, 66, and 69. And those were between the years 1967 and 1981. Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, number 60, 1967. The Phantom, number 31 through 34 and number 36 through 38, 1969 through 1970. Romantic Stories number 94, July 1968. Scary Tales number 22, October of 1980. Secret Agent number 10, October of 1967. Space Adventures number 2 and number 4, July and November of 1968. Space Adventures Presents UFO, number 60, October 1967, and Strange Suspense Stories, Volume 2, number 1, 2, and 4. That was October 67 through November 1968. Now on to DC Comics. Adventure Comics, Adventurers Club, number 42 and 46. Spectre, number 431 through 433, 435, 436, and 440. Aquaman, number 441 through 452, and Deadman, 459 through 461, and 464. That one was from 1973 through 1979. All-Star Western, Volume 2, number 5 in 1971. Aquaman, number 40 through number 59 from 1968 to 1978. Aquaman Volume 3, number 52, Flashback Sequence in 1999. Azrael Annual number 3 in 1997. Batman number 414 through 420, 426 through 435, 440 through 448, 450 and 451, 480 through 483, 486 through 491, 494 through 500, 533 and 534, 558, and 560 through 562, and that ran from 1987 through 1990. Then he did the Batman Annual, number 24, in 2000. Batman and the Outsiders, number 1 through 9, number 11 and 12, and number 16 through 20. That's from 1983 to 1985. Batman, Blackgate, Isle of Men. Blackgate, Isle of Men, 1998. Batman, Brotherhood of the Bat, 1996. The Batman Chronicles, number 7 and number 14, 1997 and 1998. Batman Family number 17, 1978. Batman GCPD number 1 through 4 miniseries, 1996. Batman Legends of the Dark Knight number 142 through 145 and annual number 1 from 1991 to 2001. Batman Shadow of the Bat number 61 and number 68 in 1997. The Brave and the Bold number 98. 100 through 102, 104 through 136, 138 through 145, 147, 149 through 152, 154 and 155, 157 through 168, 157 through 162, and then 168 through 170, 173 through 178, 180 through 182, 184, 186 through 189, 191 through 193, 195 through 196, and 200. and that was from 1971 to 1983. DCU Holiday Bash number 1, 1996. Dead Man, Dead Again, number 2 of 5, miniseries, 2001. Detective Comics number 437, 438, 444 through 446, 500, 625 through 632, 638 through 643, 716, 719, 722, and 724, 1973 through 1998. Ghosts, number 1, 1971. Green Arrow, number 0, 81 through 88, 91 through 95, 98 through 100, 109, and 123, from 1993 to 1997. House of Mystery, number 192, number 201, and number 209, 1971-1972. House of Secrets, number 93, 97, and 105, 1971 through 1973. Justice League of America, number 200, in 1982. Mystery in Space, number 111, 1980. Outsiders, number 1 through 7, 9 through 14, 17 through 22, and 25 and 26, 1985 through 1988. Phantom Stranger, Volume 2, number 7 through 26, 1969 through 1973. Secret Origins, Volume 2, number 10, Phantom Stranger, in 1987. Spectre, Volume 3, number 16, in 1994. Speed Force, number 1, The Flash, Kid Flash Story, 1997. Steel, number 33, in 1996. Superboy and the Ravers, number 8, 1997. Teen Titans, number 36, with Aqualad, in 1971. Maybe that's first appearance of Aqualad. It doesn't really say, but Time Warp, number 1, 1979. The Unexpected, number 127 and 132, 1971 through 1972. The Untold Legends of the Batman, number 2 and 3, 1980. Witching Hour, number 25 in 1972, and Wrath of the Spectre, number 4, in 1988. And just a little footnote, The Wrath of the Spectre was a 4-issue miniseries published in 1988. Issues 1 through 3, reprint. The characters run in Adventure Comics number 431 through 440. All but 434 and 437 through 439 are drawn by Aparo, while issue 4 prints 3 stories that were written in 1975 and newly illustrated for this miniseries by Aparo again. Let me see. That's pretty much all I have for Jim Aparo. The man has done a great deal of work. I have quite a few comic books with his cover art and interior art. I think I pulled out about 6 books to show you guys tonight. So to start off with, we have Batman, number 286. Very cool Joker cover. And if you look right here, if I can get that to focus, if you can see the JA, so that's for Jim Aparo right there. That's his signing. Sometimes he signs initials, sometimes he signs his full name. This one is World's Finest, number 253. Very cool book. This is in pretty good shape. I really like this one. I have several World's Finest that he did the covers on and interior art. Now this one here is Brave and the Bold, number 124, which we talked about earlier. And as you can see down at the bottom, he has drawn himself and he's drawing a Brave and the Bold cover. So that's a really cool cover. When I found out about this one, I just had to have it. And I've had this for, I don't know, a year or two. I just love that cover. And I'm trying to, you know, complete the Brave and the Bold series anyway, but I'm not near there. I have quite a few, but I don't have near the whole run. This one is Brave and the Bold number 181. Really love that cover. Now, right down here, if I can get you to see this, if I can get her to focus for you. There we go. There is his signature. It just says Aparo, but you can kind of see what his signature looks like. Another Brave and the Bold. This one's number 182. And of course I love this one because it's got the Batmobile in the background. And then last but not least, if I could get a hold of it, the Spectre number 4, or Wrath of the Spectre number 4. And if you look right down here, you can see his signature there. That is a very, very cool book. I love the way he draws the Spectre. I also love the way he draws Batman, because that's just, you know, him and Neil Adams just draw the best Batmans. I mean, I love Jim Lee's Batman and stuff too, but I really love the old school Neil Adams and Jim Aparo Batmans. Those were my favorite. And that is all I have on Jim Aparo. As always, if you have any information that I did not cover that you would like to share, please leave a comment down in the comment section. And I never got a chance to meet Jim Aparo. If any of you have had an experience meeting him, I would appreciate it if you would share that with us. That would be an awesome thing to know about. So with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane on Jim Aparo. If this is the first time you've been to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to see when I've posted another video, and please hit the like. It helps my channel out when you hit the like button, so I'd appreciate it if you'd do that as well. And please leave comments. So next week we will have another Comic Book Artist Spotlight on Wednesday. I'm going to try to do a haul video between now and then. Hopefully I can get that done this weekend, because I did pick up a few more very interesting books I think you guys will like. So with that, I will let you all go. I hope you have a tremendous rest of the week, and we will see you all next video.